All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
You may begin. A lot of times I'm driving, there's nothing to do, and I shuffle through the radio before I unglue. There's a lot of red on ways, it's traffic, I'm screwed, and I'm wired a bit different than a regular dude. It's not a bad thing, I embrace it, it's true. The radio don't stimulate brain chemistry fluid. The Buddha found nirvana and the Four Noble Truths. Through a meditative process, right action he proved. For me, I require the use of a tool, a detector, pin, pointer, shovel, and beach scoop. I'm meant to work the dirt with my history crew, but everywhere I look, my interest taboo. Most people choose Bieber over Tippy Canoe. What does a detectorist listen to when the radio is full of bad music and news? I need an alternative for me to peruse. Beyond Sight and Sound gets fantastic reviews. A metal detecting show where my thought bubble brews.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoop's company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com.
Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show.
All right, the fine print's out of the way. It's time to roll with the show. We're back and we're live once again. You are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. We ran the bumpers a little long tonight to give people time to get into the chat. That way I could see what all was going on, because I'm sure here in a few minutes I won't be following the chat at all. I see it took Tony a little bit to get in. Welcome aboard. Quite a few people here. Interesting. Definitely interesting. And obviously, those of you've seen the posts, you know we do the field safety and medical awareness shows twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And Barb is always an asset for those. She comes prepared with the facts, the statistics, not the rumor, legend, hearsay, or what people may think is going on. Because this could be kind of a bit controversial tonight. But she is always an asset for those, and tonight, obviously, our episode of, or this edition of Field Safety and Medical Awareness for Spring 2020 is Corona and Lyme edition. Interesting. Also, we see that Mike is in the house. Inmate 420, welcome aboard. Big shout out to Metal Detecting Central Illinois. If you are not a member of the group, go check out the group. They have some absolutely wonderful contests. And those that have seen the post see that there's going to be a contest here tonight for a silver dollar, which we will get into later. I would say, though, after seeing the chat, maybe we ought to just give up and just announce that Ed's the winner, because he seems to win all the time. That guy is lucky, let me tell you. But no, we're not announcing Ed as the winner, not unless he actually wins. Of course, you never know. He may. I don't know. Either way. Also, if you're looking for another contest, because we are all kind of locked down, the 1,000 likes contest is currently going on over on the Beyond Sight and Sound page. Pinned post at the top. 2004 American Silver Eagle, and it is a nice coin. Very nice coin. The rules are simple for it. Find the post, like the page, share the post, and comment that you liked and shared. It's that easy, but the contest is open to U.S. residents, lower 48 states, and if we find that you are not complying with the rules, well,
bam.
Ain't nothing we can do but drop the hammer. I mean, you're out of there. You're out of there. So far, everyone does seem to be playing nice with each other, though, and complying with the rules, so that's great to see. And we will announce that winner, I believe, on the May 3rd broadcast. So, I think that's everything we've got out of the way there. We did drop some of the links that we will be talking about early on in the chat at the beginning of the show. And we will, that way, if people want to follow along, we will get into those as well. So welcome aboard. Thanks for dropping in, everybody, for our 2020 Spring Edition Corona Lyme Medical Awareness and Field Safety Show with Barb Dirt Pirates Connell. How is it going, Barb?
It's going good. And, you know, right off the bat, anything I say, I did research. I took it from reliable web pages. You know, there are unreliable ones.
So you're saying you didn't go to Wikipedia?
I didn't go to Wikipedia, and I didn't go to, Yahoo front page or any of that. I went to, the CDC, the NIH, directly to people's websites that I found info about them tonight, which was really cool. If you missed 60 minutes, it was really enlightening. So, yeah, I do my research. I just don't pull this out of the air and go, this is my opinion. It's the facts.
Right. And I'm sure if listeners drop back and check out the archives of the past field safety medical awareness shows, they will definitely know that you definitely do your research and bring your facts to the table.
I was actually researching up to the minute you called me.
Right. Yeah, that's the other thing. We were dropping links in kind of last minute. There were a few additions because of some questions that had came up in conversation earlier today. So we'll see how this goes. It should be another very informative show. And not only that, but one lucky listener tonight, hang in there in the chat, folks, because one lucky listener will walk away with a 1891 silver dollar.
And I know the answer.
Right, that's why we've got you in here, so you can't give it out.
I know, and he told me I couldn't play because I was the guest, so I was a little upset. But hey,
but you entered the 1,000 likes giveaway.
I did. Thank you very much. So a lot of people may be sick and tired of hearing about coronavirus or COVID-19. I probably heard it, but we hear things, and sometimes it takes 2 or 3 times to hear it before we store it. And it's COVID. There are numerous COVID viruses out there. I think we've identified 8 maybe different ones that we can catch from animals, that animals have them all the time. What I didn't know till a couple of weeks ago was that the 19 stands for 2019, which is kind of scary because we're here almost in May 2020, and the first case was December 31st, 2019, and that's where they got the 19 from.
Yeah, see, you have done your research. You're right, because that is why the 19 is there. That's when they started noticing that we had something going on and that we were really going to be in some trouble if we didn't get proactive and get proactive quickly.
And Mark Hoover listened to 60 Minutes, and they were talking about a company called Blue Dot. It's based out of Toronto in Canada, and his team is amazing. I mean, it's geologists, all kinds of different weird people, groups, but a pretty big team. And I think he said there was 12 countries that pay him for his intel. And Canada's one of them. California finally bought in on their own. And China is one of them. And so when they had the first case, they actually tracked cell phones in China and watching where the people were moving from Wuhan those first couple of weeks, and they predicted the hot spots to occur in the next couple of weeks, and they were spot on.
Wow.
And so Canada got this intel because of people coming in from Wuhan into Canada, and that was back in January when Canada got it, and they ordered all their PPE and all that stuff right then and there, and it's why they've had less people being infected. They only have 2,560 deaths and only 46,895 cases as of today. So when you compare that to the U.S., California's done a good job, but he even showed where some of that is coming in, how much came in through New York. He's like, it was only surprising that was going to be the hot spot. But he don't share this info with country unless you're paying for it.
Right. And I guess kudos to the Canucks then. I mean, some of us got to the party a little late as far as preparation.
And yeah, and I've had people call me a hoarder. I'm not a hoarder. I'm a preparer. I'm not really a hoarder in the sense that you see on TV. I was an extreme couponer for years. After my divorce, I needed a hobby. So before metal detecting, I did extreme couponing. And because of that was 8 years ago because I checked my timeline. I bought so much Tide at $1.99, $2.99 that I am on my getting ready to open my last jug of Tide. I haven't bought Tide in 8 years, and I only paid $2 to $3 for it all.
Wow.
So I don't think that's being a hoarder. It was just they were having good deals back then. So every time I got a coupon for $3, $4, $5, I went and bought it. So that's just the way I am. So yeah, when COVID hit and everybody needed TP, I had 100 rolls. It's just the way it goes. Sorry.
Right. Not a hoarder unless it comes to Indians.
Yeah, I do have a whole flat. I have so many Indians right now. I like them. What can I say?
Right.
But really, I did a video a month and a half ago. I was just like bored and couldn't sleep. And so I basically went through my house saying, I've got this much TP. I've got, 5 things of spaghetti. I got 8 jars of spaghetti sauce. And, you buy it when it's on sale. It's not hoarding, but when everybody's trying to buy food, I'm sitting back going, I can live for a month,
Right.
And this is going to happen again. I may not see it in my lifetime, but I probably will. But this stuff comes around every so often. And it's going to happen again for you younger people. You're going to see another one of these, and either we're going to get smarter and be more prepared, or it's going to be worse. I mean, it's one way or the other.
Yeah, either you get with the program or you can expect the numbers to jump dramatically.
And they don't know when we're going to see the next wave. If it's going to be this summer, everybody's going, oh, the heat kills it. Well, here's a good thing. It's estimated that 2% of the population are healthy carriers of COVID, and that they are responsible for 5 to 10% of all infections. So if we've got this small little group that has it, and there are always going to be carriers, it can come back.
Right.
And so whether it'll be in the summer or the fall, I can tell you once things are going to get back to a new normal here soon. And once PPE is available, everybody needs to buy a couple boxes of masks and a couple boxes of gloves and put them in your closet. It doesn't matter if they expire. It's better than having none.
Right. And the, wouldn't hurt to throw some hand sanitizer and disinfectants in there.
And, I'm lucky that I am a nurse and I did clinical for many years. So I have 1, 2 bottles in my car, 4 on my desk at work, 1 on my chain around my neck, and probably 3 bottles in my cupboard. Just from doing clinical, you go in, you go pick up a bottle, you stick it in your pocket. And so I probably have 10 bottles of hand sanitizer. Some of them are 10 years old, but they smell good. So I'm going to keep using them if that's all I got.
Right. At least you've got peace of mind.
Exactly. But it was weird because at one point the grocery stores ran out of the sanitizer wipes to wipe your cart down. And somebody in a post said if they don't have any, they usually have the umbrella things to put your umbrella in when it's raining, and put that over your handle so that you're not touching the handle. So that's
use it like a makeshift barrier or glove.
Exactly. So you could always steal 2 and put 1 on each hand, and then no matter what you touch, you ain't got to worry about it, So there are ways to get around it.
Right.
But I don't know if people realize everyone is seeing the little COVID bug on TV. It's round. It's got these little spiky things all around it. and these little round things on the end. And that's what makes it so dangerous. That's really what it looks like. I thought, somebody just drew this picture and everybody liked it. But no, that's really what it looks like. And so when it gets in your lungs, it's able to just put those little spikes wherever it wants. And it's I was going to say DNA, but I believe it's RNA, but it may be DNA. Lord, I lost that note. It's RNA. We have both. As humans, we have both DNA and RNA, and DNA is double-stranded. RNA is like half of it. It's single. And so those little spikes allow it to get in there. But I think I had a friend of mine in the beginning of this, and he's still friends, so I'm happy. But he was like, it's all a bunch of BS, and, they're blowing this out of proportion. And the thing is, people tend to think, oh, well, I got pneumonia, I took antibiotics, and I'm good, I lived, I'm fine. Well, we don't have a lot of antivirals. We do for HIV, we do have some antivirals that'll help keep their viral load down, but it's specific to that disease. So we don't have a lot of antivirals that we can even consider using against this thing. So unless the virus ends up causing a bacterial infection, which is what is basically happening, we can fight the bacterial part, but we can't really fight the virus part.
Right. So basically what they're doing is they're treating cases symptomatically.
Right. The bad thing about all your COVID, when it first hit and they're saying, 1,000 people dead in New York today, 1,000 dead tomorrow. I'm like, why are these people dying from a virus? Well, being an ICU nurse, I try to put this in layman's term. When somebody gets a bad bacterial infection and it goes systemic, they get sepsis, it's in their blood, it starts affecting all their organs, they go into what we call ARDS and MODS, which are adult respiratory distress syndrome. And the bad thing is you can do a chest x-ray on a patient that is in ARDS and they're in ARDS because you're getting ready to put them on a vent and their chest x-ray looks fine, looks normal. That is indicative of ARDS. And so these people coming in sick, they're doing chest x-rays, and until doctors realize, no, they really are in ARDS, we need to vent them, it isn't till 24 hours later that their x-rays look like two big white puffy pillows where your lungs should be black on an x-ray. The 24 hours later, they're white. So they have whited out lungs. So it's kind of hard to ventilate and perfuse someone when you're in ARDS. The other thing that happens is they go into MODS, which is multi-organ dysfunction syndrome. And it means that their kidneys, their liver, everything's trying to shut down.
Your body's shutting down. Your organs are going offline.
They're at the point they can no longer do their job, and you start to see their bun creatinine and LFTs going through the roof. And so if a virus can do this, and we have 55,000 deaths in the U.S. as of today, something like that. That's a lot of people that a virus killed.
Yeah, absolutely.
55,396 as of this minute.
Wow.
And that's just in the U.S.,
last week, I think it was sometime last week, the world death count was already over 100,000 people.
Now it's 206,968 as of right now.
See, you definitely bring your facts.
Oh, I kept my page that covers the world, covers the U.S. in detail, how many active cases, closed cases. And the thing is, there's 1,851,159 mild cases out there. So if those people are not quarantining, guess what?
They're contributing to the problem.
Yeah. And we got 57,000 serious or critical cases on the books as of right now in the world. So those are your people on vents.
Right. Yeah, it's safe to say these are not the people that we see on Facebook saying, "Oh, it's a hoax. There's nothing to it."
And within by the end of this week, we will be over 1 million cases in this country.
Oh, now you're killing me, Barb. I'm about 2 weeks out from treatment.
I know, but there's 987,160 cases right now in the U.S.
Out of the frying pan into the fire.
There's only 118,781 that are recovered out of that 987,000.
Wow.
So
that puts things in a completely different perspective for a lot of people, I'm sure.
I hope it does. And guess what?
When they
open your state, be the one that still wears your mask when you go to Walmart, the grocery store. Make sure you're still using your hand sanitizer after you pump gas or handle money the bank gives you. You know, the bank people are wearing gloves there, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to agree. I mean, even as they talk about starting to open states back up, and we see more people starting to come back out, and more coming back out because the weather's getting better and stuff like that, it's like, I don't think I'm buying into all that, you know, happy, feel-good, kumbaya campfire stuff. I think I'm still keeping my mask and hand sanitizer and you know, staying vigilant for a while yet after that. Actually, I plan on doing that for at least a month after they open up.
Yeah, I'm probably going to do it till I see the numbers on my little board going to 1, 2, 3 a day dying in our area, you know.
Right.
The thing is I work for the tribe. The reservation is closed. They just reported 3 new cases, so those 3 people left the res and got COVID. And have now, we have drive-through testing at the hospital. You can just call, tell them you're coming, and they'll test you in the parking lot. So we got 3 people. When the res is closed, you can come and go. You can only get on if you have a badge that you work there, a driver's license showing your address is there, or you're a delivery person.
Right. Essential personnel, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, they still don't know my car. After 3 weeks of lockdown, it's like, stop. Oh, hey, it's you. Go on through, you know? It's like,
right.
And I can't roll my window down. They now have big signs saying, do not roll your window down. But I want to roll my window down and say, can you tell me I can't come on so I can call out sick for the week, you know?
Right, I need a break.
Yeah. So, and we are wearing N95s at work all day. We have people breaking out from them. We have no cases. We did get 10 test kits in case people show any symptoms. We are having to take our vital signs when we walk through the door, put a mask on, clean the equipment we just touched with gloves and wipes, sign our vital signs on a sheet and state that we have no symptoms before we're allowed in the building.
Right.
And I'm really worried that we're going to open too quick.
That I would have to agree. That is my concern too. Is are we going to jump the gun? And really, what is happening is the calm before the storm, so to speak.
And this is what worries me. My sister went, who is COVID-19 positive, went to Israel and got back in country around March 12th, somewhere around that date. They were quarantined, and the next week she got sick as snot, went to the doctors, got tested. It was on a Friday she got tested. So they've been back in country for at least 10 days at that point. And she went home, couldn't breathe. She has asthma, so she's high risk. They called her on Monday, told her to report to the hospital. She was positive. My brother-in-law took her in, and they admitted her. She was in the hospital a couple of days, went home, and she had to get readmitted because she couldn't walk 20 feet without stopping and trying to catch her breath. And got readmitted for 5 days. When she got home, we're looking at like 3 weeks since they've been back in country easy. And my brother-in-law is going crazy. He's like, I got to go back to work. And his boss said, you can't till you're negative. I need, a negative test. So he went and got tested that week. And we're looking at like 21, 25 days they've been back, and he is still positive.
So much for 14 days and you're in the clear.
Yeah.
That is not good either.
And he said he felt like crap, just, kind of flu-y, achy, and this dry cough. But was doing okay. But she was sick as snot. So, they could have been reinfecting each other. I don't know, but it just shows 14 days may not be the answer.
Absolutely. And we see it in other aspects as well, common cold, seasonal flu, stuff like that, where people that live in the same house, they're passing it back and forth, and it takes a while to beat it anyway. And I'm sure that could be a good possibility with the COVID as well. But, I mean, this is nothing to play with.
Yeah, and what they're saying is incubation, which means the time that you're exposed to when you develop symptoms is 3 to 2 weeks, but the average is 12.5 days, which is basically 2 weeks that you're going to develop the symptoms from the time you're exposed.
Right. Not good.
No, it isn't. So... but the reason that it gets certain people so sick is once it does infiltrate into your blood, your cells, it causes what they define as an excessive immune reaction, which is, they call it a cytokine storm. But what happens is your tissues get so damaged that it starts releasing all the things that your body hopes can fight it. And so you got the bug in there, then you've got your interleukin and all these other things we release in our body to fight it. But what I would tell my students is, first of all, God did do some things right, whether you believe in God or not. That this is just how I teach, is that I would tell them, your white count is 6 to 10,000, but that's really like 100,000. And so those are white cells that are just running around in your bloodstream looking for stuff to do. But in reality, inside every one of your blood vessels, there are thousands and thousands of white cells. And I would draw little stick people inside the vein and put little teacups in their hand and say, they're just having tea and crumpets. That's all your white cells do, except for the ones that are patrolling and running around. I said, because if I got a bad bug in my body and I had to produce those white cells, I'd be dead before I made any. Right. So God gave us a lot of them that just hang out and just chat and do their thing. But once something gets in our body, they become just like Pac-Man. They're little Pac-Man running around looking for it. And when they find it, what do? They gobble it up, right? Just like Pac-Man in the game. They chomp, 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 chomp. Well, they can only chomp and eat so much. And then what happens? They blow up. They burst, and that's where you get your pus and your junk and your goobers when you have a cold or you got pneumonia and you got those white out lungs. It's from all those white cells blowing up, which causes more tissue injury, and it all kind of starts all over. And then you run out
graphic
of white cells.
description.
Okay. And then you run out of white cells because your body can't produce enough. And so, but when it's a bacteria, I can give them antibiotics. It's gone. Your patient always gets worse before they get better because of the goobers blowing up.
Right.
But at that point, your antibiotics start kicking in and you see your patients get better. So they're giving these people antibiotics to fight that junk that's causing bacterial infections. But in the end, it's not killing the virus. Your body has to do that itself.
Right. The meds are treating symptomatically. They're not killing the virus itself. They're treating the byproduct of it, basically.
Exactly. And it's the same thing with Lyme disease, and you put Lyme disease, but we all know you meant Lyme disease. The antibiotic doxycycline, we give that. It doesn't kill the Lyme spirochete. It ain't a bacteria or a virus. All it does is it inhibits it from reproducing and making more. So in the end, your body's got to kill it also. So, yeah, we're giving these drugs, and yeah, they help, but they're not the cure.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't want any of my friends to be in the category that I've labeled COVIDiots, because those are the people on the beaches in California right now. They said the beaches were packed when they opened the state. Other states, the mayor of Georgia, of Atlanta, is like not on good terms with the governor of Georgia right now because she thinks it's too soon to open up, but he's going for it, and he's opening hair salons, tattoo parlors, tanning beds, nail salons. And I'm like, those are like the last places I'm going. If I'm going anywhere, I'm going to go to the grocery store, Lowe's, or to get takeout, and that's it.
Right.
So don't fall into that. Continue to be safe, people. Continue to wear your mask, your gloves, wash your hands, disinfect, do everything you can, because I don't think this is going away. And then other signs and symptoms are fever, malice. If you don't know what malice is, it's just you feel like crap, like the semi just ran over you. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to get up. The dry cough, so it isn't that cough, you're coughing up goobers, that's probably allergies, or you got a cold or pneumonia. Dyspnea, which is you can't breathe. Mods and sepsis, we talked about. Septic shock, respiratory failure, pneumonia, and they have abnormal findings on their CT in all cases. So if you start to feel like crap and you got that dry, hacking cough that you normally don't have, you might want to go get tested.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, the sooner the better.
Yeah, and especially if you have an underlying, respiratory problem, you definitely need to go. The difference with this, we've had SARS-CoV or CoV, we've had MERS, we've had H1N1. None of them have killed this many people, and that's what makes it different. And I know people have talked. They're pretty sure it came from bats. They're not sure if it came from the lab in Wuhan. China's never going to admit it. That's my opinion. Because who in the heck wants to say, hey, we did this to you, world?
Right. Where's the line to sign up for that?
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel I had a friend of mine hit me up saying, you want to go to New York? And I'm like, it's tempting. $10,000 a week. You have to sign on for 3 weeks. But do you really want to go to ground zero to make that kind of money?
Right. Yeah, you have to stop and ask yourself, is it really worth it?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, we could go for 6 weeks and I could not have to work for a year, but is the risk worth it? I don't think it is, And if I was going to do it, I need to do it for the right reasons and not the money.
Right, yeah, that's... When people hear the amount of money that some of these frontline people basically are bringing in, they got to stop and remember, too, that for a lot of these people, it's not going to be worth it for them, and most of these people are probably younger, very healthy people that if they do catch it, they can fight it off.
I looked at the news a couple nights ago when they had a whole team of nurses coming in from all over the country, and the majority of them are like 25 to 30. So they're at less risk that if they do catch it, that they're going to have a terminal outcome,
Right.
And I look at it at my age and being a smoker, no, it's probably not the smartest thing to do.
There you go. Stay on the side of caution. Yeah, the money sounds nice, but it isn't going to do you any good if you don't live long enough to spend it.
Exactly. And I don't know how the people in New York, if you look, what is it, Riker Island, that they're just burying people in mass graves from New York City.
Right.
And
Not
it's
good.
like, yeah, and a lot of those are unclaimed bodies, but it's like, I don't know if I could work in a hospital where you're losing, 8, 10 patients on your floor every day. I've done that when I worked oncology and on an HIV floor. This is different. It's just different,
Oh yeah, I would have to agree, and they some people don't realize. When you see these people that are literally fighting for their lives, it's very despairing.
It really is, and you had mentioned to me about the hydroxychloroquine that they were talking. This may help. And then I seen some doctor last week saying, oh, we need to be careful because it causes a prolonged QT in people. And her English wasn't that great, but I researched that today. There are a lot of people on hydroxychloroquine around the world for RA, lupus, MS, all kinds of autoimmune. And it does not do that. It does it in conjunction with azithromycin, which is a Z-Pack, that they have found. And I don't understand why you would give somebody azithromycin. Yes, it's great. It's good for upper respiratory, so I don't understand the logic why they went with that drug, because that's more for like sinus infections and that kind of stuff. I would have given them doxycycline or something like that that's lower respiratory infections, but they put people on the two drugs, and oh my God, they started having prolonged QT syndrome. And if people, everybody knows you have a heartbeat. Everybody has seen what a heartbeat looks like on an EKG. Well, the first little bump is a P wave. The big spike is your QRS, and the last wave on it is your T wave. So what's happening is the T wave is moving away from the QRS, and it's what we call a prolonged QT, which is bad if they have an early beat come and hit on that. You could go into VTAC or all kinds of stuff. Well, they're only seeing it in the study that they did with the two drug combination. So if you're on the drug, don't worry. The only thing you have to have is have your eyesight checked. That's it.
Right. Yeah, I do recall that.
Now, Josh, do they make you have your eyesight checked every 6 months? Because I just have to ask that.
Technically, yes. They do what they can to keep a close eye on the stability of how things are going, because of the fact of, with my medical situation, MS is definitely no friend to the vision, and I'm behind the 8 ball to begin with.
Right. Well, with hydrochloroquine, most people have to have an eye check every 6 months, because you can develop floaters, which can inhibit you seeing. And so I didn't know if they were doing it. I don't mean to joke about it, but I know you have eye problems, so I didn't know if they were more vigilant with you being on it than someone not on, without a vision problem.
Well, and they do keep an eye on it, but not because I am on hydroxychloroquine or anything. It's just it's the nature of the disorder that it can attack the vision, and with the amount of I don't know how you say, with the amount of visual damage that's already been sustained throughout life, and the amount of potential brain damage that's been caused, they want to keep a close eye on things. So they do still normally try to check every 6 months, just to be on the safe side. That way, if they see things starting to turn south, they can try to get a grip on it as quick as possible.
Cool. I did want to touch on the R95 mask versus the N95.
Yes, absolutely.
If you can't get the N95s, buy as many R95s as you can. They are not medical grade, but the 95 tells you something right there. Okay? They both have 95. We wear the R95s when we're soldering, doing chemicals, spraying yards with chemicals. They will inhibit you breathing that in. So they are just as good as the N95s. So once Lowe's and all those, and if you notice, Lowe's and all them don't have it because they have sent them to medical facilities because they know they're just as good.
Makes sense.
I don't know what a KN95 is, but to me, if it's got that 95, that's the grade. That's the thickness. It's just the letters before it is what to use it for. So if there's a KN95 out there and it looks like the N's and the R's, I'd say it's just as dang good.
Good possibility. I have not looked into the KN95s either, so I can't answer that.
But I want to say the 95 is the yeah, they're 95% effective. So who gives a dang what letters it has before it?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, either way, realistically, at this point in the game, anything is better than nothing.
This is the thing, guys. I had to get fitted for my N95. It comes in numerous sizes. I have a little face, so I have a little mask. But that isn't the case. What you do is they put this big hood over your head, and they spray saccharin up in the hood without the mask. And can you taste it? Yes, it tastes disgusting. Now you take the hood off and everybody refreshes, and then you put your mask on, put the hood back, and they fill this thing up with that saccharin. And if you can taste it, you are not fitted. You have to try the next size. So
right. The mask is not sealing.
Right. So everyone in our facility has been fit tested by the hospital. And so when I need a new mask every week, because we wear it for the week, it's like I need S110. It's the little one. and thank God we have lots of little ones. We don't have a whole bunch of big ones left.
And Bill says the KMP ratings are for oil resistance.
So if they're not going to let an oil go through it, they sure in heck ain't going to let a little bug go through. So, but you know what, guys? Those masks are going to be safer than a handmade one out of material, because if that material isn't, it's like bed sheets. I got 1,000 count, 2,000 count, 4,000 count. It's how many threads per foot or inch or whatever.
Right.
And so you could be making homemade masks, but if you don't put enough layers, depending on the thread count, any of those store-bought masks are going to be better.
Yeah, absolutely. But at that point, I mean, really, when you look at the alternatives, if you've got nothing, anything.
Wear whatever.
Yeah,
and I'm saying, but I know guys. Guys have got masks hid, and they're like, I got a KN, I got an R. Is it as good as an N? Yes. Wear them. But if you don't and you make them, I would want one that is 4 layers of material, not 2, 4. The more layers, the less likely something can go through, because somebody made me one and I'm breathing and I can feel it moving in and out. Well, if my breath can get through it that easy, then something can get sucked in that easy too.
Right. Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so use what you have, but again, stay away from people. I mean, I was in Lowe's 2-3 days ago. I needed bird food. Sorry, my birds are not going to suffer from this. And Lowe's have got big signs, stay 6 feet away from everybody. I mean, they're all over. You can't go up this aisle this way. You got to go that way. And this guy's checking out, and the next guy gets right behind him, and the guy checking out just keeps looking at him, and he ain't moving. If it had been me, I would have said, back up, buddy, or I'm going to take you out. Back up. And the guy checked out as quick as he could and got out of there, and this guy didn't have to move but a foot, and he had a piece of lumber, and the kid came around, and he said, sir, you need to back up, so that he could scan this piece of wood that is literally 4 inches in front of his face. And the guy just looked at him, and this kid was like, sir, you need to back up now. And he finally backed up. And I'm like, that kid's going to take you out, dude.
Well, and that's the thing. That's part of the problem, is that, they're putting these preventative measures into place to try and help alleviate the situation, but when people refuse to follow them,
And
you're
those
not
are the
helping.
COVIDians.
You're contributing to the issue.
And those are the people I am calling COVIDians,
Right.
because if a store says do this, personally, the kids should have said, if you don't back up 6 feet, I'm not checking you out and you can leave the store.
Exactly.
And I'm standing on my little square that says next person wait here, going, why don't you just take the 2x4 and hit them with it,
Some people that won't even do any good.
Yeah, and I just kept eyeballing him because I had my mask on and he kept looking at me and I just stared him back. And when I walked out, he's in his truck right next to mine and just eyeballing me. And I just looked at him like, come on.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Come on.
like here around the house and things like that. I don't necessarily worry about it so much. But if I know I have to go out into the public, I have to go into the store. I don't have any other choice. Then I'm wearing a mask.
Absolutely. What kills me is when I went into Walmart the last time, and I've only been going to the store once a week, and it's like, do I really need this? Well, if I need my drugs, it's like, what else do I want to try to score while I'm in here, And
Right. Yeah, get everything I can in one shot so I don't have to come back anytime soon.
Yeah, and I actually went in to find some quilt binding because Barbara Burgess has been making masks for a hospital, but they have to be specifically made. And she needed some binding. So I said, I got to go to the store. I'll just go to Walmart instead of Ingles, and I'll look for you. Well, I didn't find any, but my sister found 6 packages of it that she mailed to her Friday. So we're all helping out.
Very cool.
Yeah, and she sent her, I don't know how much material, too, to make masks. Everything she could cram in a package and be able to put enough stamps on it without going to the post office. She weighed it and calculated how many stamps she needed. So that's the only reason I went. But there were people there with little teeny kids. Like, it's okay, kids. Come on. Let's go COVID shopping.
Yeah, we see that a lot here too, and it's somewhat aggravating because you figure with everything that we've heard from the beginning, they've not changed from that perspective of, young kids, people 60 and older, or people with underlying medical conditions have to be very careful with this stuff. So why would you take your kids out into the thick of things? Because, let's face it, when people get sick, when they start to feel like they're getting sick, whether it's a cold or whatever, everybody runs to Walmart. Oh my God, I need aspirin, I need cough syrup, I need toilet paper, I need orange juice, whatever. And they're all running around the store coughing and touching everything, and then you come along and do the same thing.
And Stryker says, oh, just leave them in the car. Stryker, it was a man and a woman in their 30s. She has a mask on. He doesn't, and they got 2 little kids. So, first of all, if she's immunosuppressed, what the heck's she doing in the dang store to begin with? Second of all, why are your kids in the store? There's 2 adults with those 2 children. Only 1 adult should have been in that store shopping, and the other 3 should have been in the car.
Or at home.
Or at home. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah, and it just amazes me because it's not rocket science here. This should be, well, pardon the term, but it should be common sense.
And that's the thing. I mean, the denials on my page, I mean, I've lost some friends over this, which they weren't friends if I lost them, so it's no big deal. But to have somebody tell me that I should go to New York, yes, I was on their page, but it's like, I don't have to go to New York. if I was younger, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But for somebody to tell me, didn't I take a pledge to do my job and go take care of people that need it? Well, I'm taking care of people.
Right,
I have
you've
a job.
got your job. You're doing exactly what you are supposed to be doing, basically.
Yeah. And I said, excuse me. I said, I'm taking care of people.
Whoa. Speakers.
Hey, Josh.
Uh-oh.
How's it going, Striker?
I'm doing good. No, hang on. No, I agree with everything Barb's saying, but everyone's missing a big point. Barb, I respect what you're saying. I respect your job. You know that. I'd never say anything about it or anything less, okay? But eventually, the way everyone's talking, so basically what you're sounding is for the next 2 or 3 years, we should just stay in our house, have no contact with no one, don't venture outside, and just stay in a wooden box, and don't even try to go outside and start our lives up again.
I didn't say that.
That's what everyone, but I didn't say you did. No, I did not say you did. But okay, so a couple went out and they brought their kids out. Well, if nobody ever ventured or took this is very bad what we're going through. Okay? But eventually we all going to have to go outside. Yeah, we probably all will end up getting it. But it's like if we keep going with this and without the solid information, it's like someone's going to sneeze and they're either going to hang them in the street or like light them on fire. You know what I'm saying? I mean, eventually we have to start going outside. But I understand about the kid thing. But people out there, I mean, I saw a house today. We were out detecting. I won't say where, of course. This guy had a piece of plywood on his house that said, "I will shoot anyone that comes in my yard."
Yeah, see, now that's a bit extreme.
Piece of plywood. Are you kidding me?
That's a bit extreme.
That is
exactly
extreme.
This is right. I think. Okay, here's my thing. Walmart's open. Grocery stores are open. Car dealers are open. Okay, same guidelines. Why are they attacking small businesses? I've never seen 30 people in a small business. You limit the store. No more than 2 people in the store. What I hate is government is going after only small businesses. They just opened up the golf courses this weekend. Okay?
And I
but
disagree.
You can't go and get an ice cream.
I disagree with that.
It's like, it's like they're purposely destroying small businesses, because why can't they be open if you stay by the rules and the guidelines of no more than 2 people in a store, but you can walk into Walmart and all the grocery stores? It makes no sense to me.
Well, I know around here, even our smaller grocery stores and stuff, they are limiting the number of customers that can be in there at a time.
Correct. Absolutely correct. And I agree. You can do the same thing with small businesses.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I
right.
think
Big businesses are going to recover. The small ones are not, because I guarantee you 90% of the small businesses and the people out there, Chuck, myself, and other people that are self-employed, we're small businesses. We don't make $5-6 million a year, and they're getting $300,000 or $400,000 from the SBA and the emergency grant money. 80% of these small businesses aren't getting a dime, and that's what really sets me off. It should be more and highly regulated where that money goes.
I agree. I think we need to open. I think we need to have like a soft opening where...
Right, correct. 100% agreed. Correct.
Where let small businesses open, and they're already talking here about doing like your tables have to be so far apart and things like that, and regulations on cleaning in between customers and things like that.
Correct.
And I agree we need to do that, and I agree the small businesses are hurting. And I can tell you, I got Mexican a couple weeks ago because I am dying that I haven't had my weekly Mexican. And they have this huge table in between, and they're wearing gloves. I handed my debit. Actually, I had cash, and I just threw a handful of cash and was like, keep it. And they looked at me. I eat there all the time. And I'm like, I know you need the money, it's a tip, whatever.
A lot of times I'll throw my change and like if they have like a donation jar there, I'll say, just give me the paper, throw the change in the jar. Yeah, I've been doing that ever since it started. Yeah, exactly.
And
the less you handle it, the better. So
if everyone in this country had common sense, it would make it easier.
Well,
correct.
yeah.
Did you see the research on Sweden? They didn't close, and they had 256 cases because they observed the distancing.
Exactly. And the thing is...
Yeah, that's exactly my point.
If people would do what they're told, but it's like when they were closing the Florida beaches, the younger generation, it can't happen to me. Well, how many people got it? How many people did they end up infecting? How many people died because of it?
Correct, and I understand it, but through the hundreds of thousands of years or whatever, through history and long after we're gone, you can't fix stupid, and you're going to have those people all in the next 1,000 years doing the same thing. But eventually, and those people never learn. And I 100% agree with you.
The problem.
That's why, that's why even without the virus, 80% of Americans can't walk down a sidewalk at 3 a.m. without getting screwed with or hurt. I mean, it's like the same example. I mean, it's very tragic, but we got to learn to start sucking it up. And because, like when everyone says, oh, everyone's going to be the same after this, not for a long time. I mean, like I said, somebody's going to sneeze and everyone's just going to run in 10 different directions. I mean, the common cold will turn into a death sentence.
Exactly. And here's the funny. I want to tell you, it was on the news. My parents, my mom and my sister both told me about it, and I had to Google it. And I found a reliable article, and the part that hit the news and hit Facebook, and people were like, oh my God, they did this. Well, they look stupid. It's an island off of the coast of Maine, and these 3 guys have been renting a house since September on this island with New York plates. Well, they went to the mainland to get supplies and got their supplies. Well, the mainlanders called the islanders to tell them they got New York people on the boat headed there. So when these guys got back to their house, the islanders went and cut trees down and blocked them in and posted a sign, you're quarantined for 14 days. These people have been living there since September. So how stupid do they look?
Exactly.
Right. And we've got another caller on with us too. How's it going, Chuck?
Pretty good. Good.
Now I'm going to get ganged up on.
I have been given directions and orders from the upper level of the state as a fire chief, and I do run medical through our station. I have a paramedic unit, and, these guys and gals are very worried over responses. Now, we're out in a rural area. We have had it here. We have the nuke plant up here. They've sent people home. We've got other business areas around us. Yes, we have it here. We haven't seen a large amount of it out here in the country. The farmers are out doing their work. They're traveling the road. Our small businesses aren't as affected as hard because they're doing carry out on their restaurants, that kind of stuff. Of course, the bars are closed. The coffee shop parts of gas stations are closed. They can't serve anything. You can go get your gas. You can pick up a candy bar and a bottle of pop and leave. That kind of stuff. Our over in Clinton, Iowa, the grocery store we go to limits you 1 per family into the store. You go in, you get your groceries, you leave. I don't go to Wally World. My wife had to stop there. There's a particular item she needed, and she said she couldn't believe it in there. She's wearing her mask, nobody else wearing the mask. They're getting in arguments, all this kind of stuff. She got her stuff and left, and there was a kind of confrontation between a couple people at one of the checkout lines because this guy, his wife, and kids were acting up over some sort of payment method. I don't know what was going on. I wasn't there to see it. She he turned around and got into somebody else's face. I mean, people are on the edge right now. And what Craig is getting at, people are going to get edgier yet. They're being locked up, forced inside, things like that. And we're seeing a rise in several things now on responses. Number one, we're seeing suicidal subjects. They're stuck inside. They're scared to death. You got people on the edge. I mean, they've got phobias over this type of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
other
absolutely.
things is you're seeing a rise in domestic responses
it's
to where
making everybody
they've had enough of each
crazy.
other, being stuck in the house together, just all kinds of things. So they've got to, and the states are well aware of this. They've got to start opening up certain things. They had our parks closed. You couldn't even go fishing, for God's sakes, in the lakes in the park. Things like that. There's some common sense that has to be used. So common sense has to be taught. Unfortunately, these little millennials that have come up, they haven't got an ounce of common sense, most of them, so they need to learn it. In other words, when it's raining, come inside. When there's this virus going on, put a mask on and stay your distance. And some of it has to be bluntly taught.
Agreed.
I agree. And the people listening, I just want people to be safe. I don't want them to jump the gun. Go out. But you know what? You don't have to go out and eat. Support your businesses. Get it to go home or go sit at a park. Take a blanket, with your family. Be 6 feet away from people. And life can go on. Just be safe.
I don't necessarily agree with Vegas right now. Open up the casinos. That's going to be a tough one. Mark was alluding to the fact that they've got their theme parks down there. How the heck are you going to open them up? I've been to those theme parks. I mean, it's a mass. It's a crush. Things like that. But the beaches can be reopened. People can stay apart. Certain things can come back online. Iowa's doing it in a graduated manner. They're coming back online. They haven't had the amount of problems that, say, Chicago and St. Louis and some of these others that have had it. Let's go out west to L.A., go into New York. Now, here's one thing I'm going to say. It's going to stir the pot. Almost every major city that has become a sanctuary city is in the worst part of it because these people have moved into these towns. They live in high numbers in small areas. They don't always understand English. They don't follow rules. Well, good on you guys. You're a sanctuary city, but you really screwed things up.
And you know
I'm
what's
being nice. I'm biting my tongue because you don't want to get into the fire chief mode here.
Yes, you are. That was put very eloquently.
Well, the thing is when the rest of the world sits and looks at what's happening in New York, for my 85-year-old mother, who will be 86 next month, to tell me that she passed a car from New York in which because New York has front and back plates, so you see them as they're coming. And my mother says she flipped them off and yelled out the window to go home. It's a good thing she doesn't have a gun. Well, she has a BB gun, but
some people shouldn't because they use it way too much.
People are getting a little stir crazy.
But the problem is when they make it known. She lives on Martha's Vineyard Island. It's 100 square mile island. And the first case was somebody from New York City who came to buy a house, and at their closing, they were positive and infected everyone else in the room. And that is their first case. So, yes, now they have a ton of cases, and there are cars from every state there, and the steamship authority that brings the cars over, they're saying they need help from the state. Well, I'll bet those guys for standing around going, come on, stop your car. They're making $50-$60 an hour. And my attitude is if you're in trouble, you lay people off. They're going to get unemployment. You can hire them back, cut down how many boats you're running, and input equals output, right? It's just simple math. So if you're not bringing it in, you lay people off, you cut down the number of boats, and, supply and demand. And
that's right.
so,
Craig,
yeah.
And I'm going to go into Craig's defense here. Our small businesses are taking a much bigger hit because they have been deemed, many of them, non-essential. They've got to back off of them and let those people get back to work somehow, some way, as fast as they can, because these people are starving. These people live week to week on a paycheck. The government has to come around and say, okay, we've got to have a graduated comeback here. And I don't think Trump's wrong, and he's an optimist. And he doesn't always place the right words where he needs to, but he's a good president. He wants to get us back to work. He wants to get the country running again, and he will. But the doctors all have to come together on they don't have a damn response plan. I get more conflicting stuff from different places in this country than you can imagine. And every doctor's got an opinion. And remember, all doctors are only licensed to practice medicine. That word practice always bothered me.
Exactly, me too.
And Craig, I do love you, but we're not going to compare COVIDs to AIDS, okay? When I graduated nursing school in 1992, some of you weren't even born then. And I had many years of healthcare experience as an EMT and a paramedic prior to that. And when I was offered a job at Humana,
I'm going to interrupt. Mark, you're right. And that's all I wanted to say. Go ahead. Sorry about that, Barb.
No, that's fine. They gave me 3 choices. I could work family malpractice, which is what we called it because they didn't know what they were doing over there, diabetic floor, or I could work the oncology, HIV, AIDS floor. And I opted to do that, where most new grads were like, heck no. Well, I did that for 2 years, and you don't catch AIDS unless you're stupid. You sleep with someone unprotected, even back then. You shared IV drug user needles, or you got a blood transfusion. Those are the people that got HIV and AIDS. So you can't compare this. If I could be a nurse for 2 years, I took care of a guy for 10 days who turned out to have drug-resistant TB. I never caught it from him. He didn't have a cough. He wasn't symptomatic. But when we tested him, he had it. And so guess what? I never caught AIDS. I never caught HIV. I didn't catch TB. I took care of tons of patients with those diseases. And you can't compare this. This is like a silent killer. I mean, it's silent. You don't know if you're talking to somebody and they have it or not. In 92, you could tell when somebody had AIDS. They were emaciated, which means very thin. They looked like they were malnutrition and dying. And you could tell that somebody had it. Today, you can't. They're on such good drugs now that people walking around that are HIV and AIDS positive look healthy. And so do the people with COVID. They look healthy.
Right.
Yeah, and with all this craziness going on, Barb, and number one, the fear of it. It's an unable to be seen entity. You don't know if the person 6 feet from you has it, doesn't have it, had it, whatever. It was in the country a lot sooner than what they realized. A lot of people were very ill in December and January, and there were people dying then that they're backtracking on, and this comes from Mayo's Clinic in Rochester. They had cases in December. And they were warning people, I think, that COVID-19 is here, and nobody was listening then.
Right. No, exactly.
Has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Strikers.
Is not available.
We've got some issues
here.
At
the tone, please record your message.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
we have a long message for Stryker.
Yeah, Stryker's obviously fired up about something, and he's not letting me get him back in. So, He's going to have to sit because we can't listen to people's voicemails.
No. Well, anyway, I'm going to back out. I had my soapbox derby there. I'm down off it right now. And Barb, I know you're doing a wonderful job there. We are all trying to bring this together. If we could just get somebody that is truly in a leadership role per state. It's up to the governor of the state, not the president of the United States.
Right, and get everybody on the same page.
Get his head out of his you-know-where or hers and give some leadership by bringing in the proper people and working within the state, and then it trickles down through local. You cannot believe everything I've seen from all over, so I take my direction directly from the fire marshal's office. We have the Department of Public Health. We're working with them. I don't care what the governor says and wears his mask and does all this stuff. I have to answer to a different group.
Right.
So that type of stuff, and my guys and gals are aware of it. We're not meeting at the station. We're not doing trainings, but we are answering all our calls. We're keeping our stuff running. We have the proper PPE. We've limited the number of people in per what the fire marshal office made a recommendation to me on, and how we handle these cases. And, we're doing the best we can. My hat's off to the nursing community. I'm here to tell you those gals all over and guys all over the country are putting some long hours in. The doctors, they're pulling their hair out because everybody's going every direction but the right way, I see right now.
Right.
Well, and that's one thing. I can say we have a great medical team at the nursing home I work at. Dr. Winchester is fabulous, in case she's listening. She is on top of this. She reviews the CDC recommendations, the long-term care nursing facility recommendations, and she is literally on top of it, and we are doing everything to keep our residents safe. And I give my kudos to her because she's fabulous to work with.
There you go.
But I think we do need to open our small businesses, and I think that's why Georgia makes me so mad that they're opening salons, nails, hair, tattoos. It's like we can live without these people. Open
but
up.
It's just like Mark said. Everybody is dependent upon a business that they own if that's what they're making their money at. So you got to give them the same rights as any other business, whether it's a large business, small business, individual, in your home, out of a shop, whatever. Everybody has that same right to be open if the state's going to open up. So where do you draw the line? You can't. You got to let them open up.
Well, see, right. Georgia drew the line. Those are the only ones they're letting open right now. They didn't open the restaurants and the other small businesses. They opened this crap that we can live without. Yes, they need to work, but I think restaurants...
And the restaurant thing's going to come back around here shortly, I think, in some areas. I think it was Ed Olson's mom owns a restaurant, he said, and I hope that she can get opened up. Many of the restaurants here, we're driving over, there's a place in Clinton, Iowa called the Frontier. You go over, you call... They bring your food out to you. The gals got gloves and a mask on. You pay them, and you walk away. They've got great food. I did that the other day. In fact, I had a chunk of prime rib that was excellent. I even told I talked with Josh. I was going to have that the other night, and It was good food. Just something. Go get some food and get out. That was fine. But everybody has to come up with a way to kind of figure out how they're going to do it. And I have no answers for everybody. I'm doing appointments here with people coming down, picking up their stuff, and I'm drop shipping everything. If you're over 80 miles out or hours drive out, I'm drop shipping to them. So that's kept me hopping here and that kind of stuff, and most all of it's been a free drop ship. So, I'm trying to make do with what we got, and everybody else out there is doing the same, and once they get their stuff together in these sanctuary cities where it's the worst, maybe we can move on from this.
There you go.
And there's a way to do it. The old deli, take a number. I mean, for restaurants, put one of those things, take a number, And when they call your number, you go to one window, put your order in, have another window to pick up what you're ordering. I mean, there's a way to do it and keep everyone safe.
Oh, yeah, and they are. Even the restaurants in our area are finding ways to work around that to where they can still have at least a little bit of business coming through.
Well, I'm going to back out. You guys have a great night. Everybody stay safe. I have been getting out detecting a little bit here and there, and all by myself. I haven't, the one day we had 4 guys meet, but we all had about 45 acres to ourselves, each one of us, and that was about it. And for the most part, getting along here and answering calls as we have been called out on, which have been really, this has slowed things down a lot from our normal call load. So this is different other than sick people.
Well, that's
so everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Let's go out and find something.
Before you leave, Chuck, I made you something. It didn't come out the way I wanted it. And I made you something, and I was going to bring it in June, but you canceled my vacation.
You have a surprise in the mail.
Now, wait a minute. I didn't cancel it. We postponed it.
Right.
There's a difference.
You canceled my vacation.
You
canceled my vacation, and I was going to bring it, and so I was rushing to get it done, and I mailed it, and you will have it Tuesday, and it didn't come out as good as I wanted it to, but it is what it is.
It'll be appreciated.
All right.
I'll look forward to the mailman, actually mail lady, on Tuesday. That'll be fun.
There you go.
I have to talk about it on Wednesday.
If you don't like it, then it's Josh's fault, not mine.
Dave, now wait a minute. I don't know how I got roped into that.
Okay, Barb. Well, everybody have a great one.
All right.
Stay out of trouble if you can. Bye-bye.
And we're going to have to be moving along here because we're starting to run long.
Yeah, we are. And I don't have a whole lot to say about Lyme disease, but I'll talk about it for 2 minutes. And if you live in Pennsylvania, you're in the worst freaking place you could be for Lyme disease. That's all I can say. They had almost 8,000 cases last year. Everyone else is in the 1,000 to 2,000 range up in Yankee land. The bad thing is those are 2018 statistics, and they didn't get posted till November 22nd, 2019. Hello, CDC. Why does it take 11 months to tabulate data from the year before? It's not rocket science. The other thing was Massachusetts is a bigger butthead than they ever used to be. Last year when I did this show, I looked up and you could find their statistics. Well, they've gone to this graphing thing per 10,000 people. They never show, and they have a site just for Lyme disease awareness. And I spent an hour and a half and could not ever find their numbers for last year. On the CDC site, it says they had 3 cases or 13. One was last year, one was the year before. Well, those are just people that got Lyme disease elsewhere, but caught it in Massachusetts. And that's the only reason Mass has numbers on the CDC. So I think Massachusetts, and I sent them hate mail, lots of it, telling them I thought it was disgusting that they do not share their appropriate statistics with the CDC and with the public, and that they're hiding it because they're ground zero and they know it.
Right. And I guess, we will continue to keep hounding them about that until they do get it straight, because we'll keep putting it out there that they're not.
Well, every time you go to their website for their Lyme and you click on a certain page, it'll say, "Did you find what you're looking for?" And I go, "No. Tell us more." And I write them a dissertation, and you don't have to put your name, but they're probably going to say it's that same stupid person that keeps finding that we're not doing our job. I mean, they are so hiding their statistics. It is unbelievable.
Right. Nice. Time to refill the glass.
Yeah, so
so that must mean that you're about talked out.
I am. Oh, sorry, you heard that. Oops.
Hey, some of us, including Shane, yes, I see you in the chat there, Blind Treasure Hunter. Some of us do have a fairly keen sense of hearing.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, but if we can't see, we can hear.
Yeah, I know what that was.
But I appreciate you having me on. Lyme is no joke. Bill and I know that for sure.
No, and that's why we are such a huge advocate here on the show about it, as far as spreading awareness about it.
Tony was saying it's not 11 months in yet, Barb. No, the statistics that I was discussing are 2018 statistics that were not posted until November 2019. There are no 2019 statistics to discuss because the CDC is that far behind. Oh, but their budget was like, I forget how many millions and millions and millions of dollars. I was so disgusted. And for Lyme disease, it was hardly anything. I was like, shut the front door.
Right. And unfortunately, with the winter that we've had, it is going to be another rough year for ticks and limes. I mean, when I'm seeing New Englanders post that they're already seeing ticks on them in late January, you know It's going to be another bad year.
We didn't have a lot of cold. We didn't have a lot of snow. Some people did, but other people, they got it. It was gone. But my sister did talk to a doctor about Lyme disease, and he said the reason Lyme is going through the roof is, and he's a doctor, is because we are killing their natural predators by building, and so the ticks. And so if we keep wiping out all of the animals and rats and mice that normally eat ticks, it's only common sense that we're going to have more Lyme disease because they don't have any natural predators.
Right. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. Oh, it has definitely been an interesting show so far.
It hasn't, and I know you're ready. Lyme is life-changing, Bill. I agree. People don't get it.
Yeah, it is.
Stryker,
and there are a lot of that can correlate into a number of other disorders too. That it sucks, but what can you do? You can try to be vigilant, be careful, and spread as much awareness as you can.
Exactly. And so hopefully in the fall I'll have some more info on, we'll be talking all about Lyme and all the other things we talk about, and hopefully COVID will go by the wayside and not rebound. We don't know.
That.
Yeah, so just be safe. That's all I want is people be safe, use common sense, continue to wear your mask. Just do it. And if people look at you like you're crazy, just say, hey, I'm crazy.
Right,
I have it.
I got enough other things on my plate. I don't need this on top of.
Yeah. I had a lady back up when she seen me. She turned around and seen I had a mask on at the Bryson's. It's like a feed store. Well, I paid more for my commercial potting mix there than going to Lowe's, but I knew they only let 3 people in the store, so I went there. I was in and out in 5 minutes, and this lady seen me with the mask and backed up. I said, I'm good. I just can't go to work if I catch something, so I have to protect me and the people I work with in my residence. And she was like, oh, no, it's good, you know.
Oh, yeah. The other week I had to go out to the store and did not have any sort of mask at that point, so kind of rigged up my own. And I'll tell you what, I felt like I was suiting up to rob a liquor store or something. I was going, am I going to make it back to the house without getting arrested?
and maybe that's why a lot of states close the liquor stores, because you don't know who's coming in to rob you and who isn't.
Right, yeah. You hear that bell ring and you're automatically hollering out, friend or foe, announce yourself.
Yeah, so... there, we end the show on a laugh, okay? So
That's right. Well, we end the show on more than a laugh, because we still got a silver dollar giveaway to do, too.
Oh, God, we do, and I wrote the number down.
Yeah, hopefully you didn't throw that away, and don't announce it to people.
Nope, it's right here. I'm looking at it, so if anyone thinks I'm lying, but it's pick a number from 0 to...
I know what the number is, too.
Yeah. So pick a number 0 to 100. So Josh and I see.
Yep, I see that. Yep.
And I said not to pick that number because somebody always does. So sorry, Snoopy, but 0 to 100, and whoever gets it first wins the coin from Josh.
Lower 48 states. Big thanks out to Inmate 420 and Metal Detecting Central Illinois. So hopefully Barb can keep up with them numbers, because it looks like I saw it.
Jesus.
I saw it.
Seen it. Everyone stop. Somebody won.
Yeah, stop. I saw it somewhere back there.
Oh, I know who has it, but I'm just making sure nobody got it before him. Because if he... Oh, God. Okay, I'm back to the beginning. Oh, God. He kills me. He's so freaking lucky.
Is it him?
Yeah, it's him.
Bill.
Well,
go ahead and announce it.
Bill Marsh, 60. It's how... No. I won't tell why we came up with that number.
No, they don't need...
Myself.
Yeah, they don't need to know how we came up with the number, but that is just flippin' hilarious.
It is, Bill...
All I can... Is Ed Olson still in here?
Yeah, he is.
How did Bill do that?
I don't know. And I promise I didn't give him no hints. I swear.
Right. Well, congratulations, Bill. You've won yourself an 1891. Oh, that's a New Orleans mint silver dollar. And... you need to PM me your shipping information so I can get that off to Mike, or PM it to Mike directly if you would like, but just make sure to let me know that you did get the information to him so that I'm not going around trying to keep track of everything. But we would like to give a big shout out, like I said, to Mike and Metal Detecting Central Illinois for the silver dollar giveaway tonight. Very, very cool. Congratulations to Ohio Relic Hunter. Awesome win. Definitely. And for those who were trying, I'm not sure. I'm almost mystified. How was there a contest and Ed was in there and didn't win? I don't know. That guy he's just about luckier than Chicago Ron. I think Ed's carrying a gold horseshoe too.
Oh, God.
I don't know. Either way, though, for those that were trying to win and didn't, we do still have the 1,000 likes giveaway over on the Beyond Sight and Sound page for a 1 ounce, a bullion silver American Eagle. And there's still time to get yourself entered into that. I believe the cutoff date is noon Eastern, Saturday, May 2nd, and then we will announce the winner Sunday, May 3rd, here on the show. But here's the interesting thing with that one. If you are the winner on the 3rd, and you are listening live in the chat, you will win an additional item. Not saying what it is, but you will get the Silver Eagle plus an additional item if you are live and listening in the chat on the 3rd. Oh, other than that, is there anything else we had to cover, Barb?
Nope, just be safe. Use common sense, which I know my friends have common sense. Otherwise, you wouldn't be my friends. So just, be safe. Don't start hugging people and don't shake hands and, all those things that spread bugs.
Right. Very good way to put it. Hopefully, soon, I mean, as long as people are using common sense and social distancing, we can still get out and hunt. We can still get out and do things. Me and Tam got out yesterday, actually, for a little bit. Just to get out of the house for a little bit, and took the cameras out and tried to get some wildlife shots and stuff like that. So it was still something to do.
Yeah, and I have my greenhouse. I got 12 flats of tomato plants. If you live locally, they're ready to plant in a couple weeks. They're $2 a piece. But hey, pirates got to make a living somehow.
Right? Yeah, got to keep that ship running smooth, right?
Yeah, it helps pay for DIV.
There you go. There you go. And I see Ed says, great show tonight. Definitely. Well, I'm very glad to see that I'm glad to see that Ed enjoyed himself, and I see that Shane is saying that he hates spell check, and believe me, I agree, brother. I agree. Spell check is a very, very... It likes to play evil, mean, nasty, cruel tricks on me. I'm constantly having to be vigilant, and tonight I wasn't, so I will have to fix that. But either way, Bill, get your information to me or to Mike, one or the other. Just let me know what's going on. That way we can have all that put to bed. Barb, an absolutely wonderful show. Lots of information. Hopefully people didn't get too fired up, but hey, it's got to be done. I mean, and with the situation that we're in, obviously, Corona was going to take the main topic of the floor for our Springfield Safety and Medical Awareness tonight.
And I pray I don't have to talk about it in the fall.
Exactly. So if you're ready to get out of here, I think we're going to roll.
We'll roll. Let's do it.
All right. Well, then, for everyone else, if you enjoyed the show, make sure and throw us a like. You can follow us here on Spreaker, iHeart, iTunes, Facebook, Ohio Metal Detecting on YouTube. And while you're on Facebook, check out the Facebook groups out there like Metal Detecting Central Illinois, Ohio Relic Hunter, Dirt Pirates Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound, Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound. There is a difference between the two. All Metal Militia, Detecting the Heartland, Metal Detecting Unlimited. The list just goes on and on and on. Until the next one, though, folks, we got to roll. Get out there and try to find something if you can and post up those photos. You know how we love to see them. We're out of here.